an exemplary leadership and business coach, helping business owners, CEOs, corporates in boosting revenues and growing profits. Recipient of Philip Kotler Excellence Award, serving corporates globally in restructuring business processes, systems, and right strategies for last 2 decades. Introducing a persuasive negotiator and a critical thinker, ICF certified coach and trainer, transforming business into success, contributing immensely to nation's growth. Founder and CEO at PNP Consultants, Dr. Praveen C. Srivastav.
Hello friends, welcome to my video, and the topic is how to establish a startup and convert into a unicorn company. So before even we talked about what are the characteristics and the strategies to become unicorn company, let's talk about what are the challenges currently or maybe for the past 10 or 15 years startups are facing and what are solutions to that. So there are three kinds of challenges. One is the startup idea. What kind of idea you should be pursuing so that it becomes successful. Second thing is that what kind of philosophy a business owner or especially the startup owner must adopt. And the third thing is that we need to understand why startup failed. So let's talk about the startup idea. In terms of the startup idea, there are innovative ideas versus problem solving ideas. Now, innovative idea is fine, but if it cannot solve any problem, then there is no use of that particular idea. So it is very important that yes, definitely innovation has to be there, I am not trying to say, but at the same time, that particular idea which you are trying to implement in your startup, it must solve some kind of problem. And also it must show some kind of economic benefit to the user. Second is passionable idea versus sellable idea. Now I often hear from the startup owners that we started with some good idea and I was very passionate about that. Well, I respect your passion, but if that idea is not able to sell in the marketplace, then obviously it is not going to work it out. While I do respect your passion, but it should sell in the marketplace, and that is why make sure that with your passion, if it has certain kind of demand, if people are going to use it, like it, then only you should pursue that particular idea. Now, the third thing is that a small idea versus big market potential. Now, here also it is very important that before even you start to establishing your business identity or a startup, I think we should try to do some market demand, market research and see whether for your particular product or services that particular customer or clientele or that demand is available or not. There has to be some considerable demand before even you go for the startup. So these are some cardinal rule of the business or startup ideas. Coming back to what kind of philosophy business owners or a startup owner must adopt. Now, very important aspect is that a startup owner need to have that ability to accept changes in the business environment. For example, Corona pandemic came, GST came, and many companies, those who have able to accept the challenge and they have corrected themselves according to the situation, they survived, and those who were not, they faced a difficult situation. So for a startup owner, it is very important that you should be in line with the changes of business environment, and according to the business environment is getting changed, you will also need to change your business strategy. Therefore, the business strategy has to be quite flexible. Coming back to the consider your customer as a king, because please understand, whatever product or services you are offering, you are making it for your customer, for your consumer, right? So your product or services has to be in line with your targeted customer. Definitely you need to find out for whom you are trying to basically make your product or services, and try to get into little bit more in detail and do some research for your targeted customer and make sure that your product or services has to be liked by the targeted customer. The other important aspect is the funding issue. A lot of startup has closed because the business owners or startup owner does not have ability to manage the cash flow. So one of the important thing I would say, or I would give advice to startup owners, that they should understand very clearly how to manage cash and the cash flow. With this, let's start the characteristic of unicorn startup. The process to be a unicorn is not easy, and each and every unicorn has its own story. All the unicorn companies have a similar setup of features that make them a unicorn startup. Number one, groundbreaking innovation. The unicorn companies have brought a disruption in the field they belong to. For example, Uber. Ever since they were not there, people were commuting. Take the example of India, where we have a black and yellow taxi, and they were very punctual, but they were not having a business model, and that is why they lost the business. Airbnb is also known to have changed the way people plan their way of while traveling. So innovative strategies are what make them a unicorn company. Next one is first innovation. The unicorn companies are mostly the startup in their industry. They change the way people do things and gradually create a necessity for themselves. They are also known as continuously innovate and stay ahead of competition, which might be later boom. Next is high technology. Most unicorn companies have a business model run on a higher level of technology. Almost 87% of the unicorn products are software, 7% of them being hardware, while other 6% of them being based on product or services. The other characteristic of unicorn startup is consumer based or consumer focused startup. The main goal is to simplify and make things easy for consumer and a part of their day-to-day daily life. Over 62% of the unicorns are particularly B2C companies. Another key ingredient is keeping their product and services affordably. The other major ingredient of unicorn is to make a simple solution to an existing problem. Make a very strong and highly marketable value proposition, and make a plan in order to have a very clear vision for the future of the company and the products and services which you are going to offer. So with this, let's recap once again what you need to do in order to convert your company to a unicorn company. You have to start with the game-changing idea, and I have given you in the start what kind of idea you should be adopting. Then your game-changing idea needs to get off the ground. Then you need to have a team to help execute your game-changing idea. Then obviously you need more money. Then you need to build your product and services. Then you need to sell your product or services. And if you do that, then automatically money starts chasing you and the value of your company goes beyond $1 million. The other thing is, ladies and gentlemen, do not worry for the competition. In fact, competition is good, because once there is a competition, you will continuously think how you can beat the competition. And Nykaa is a good example. Despite Amazon and Flipkart was there, and everybody thought that there is no third player would be coming in this particular market. And look, Nykaa came and they become the unicorn company. So I would say rather focus on having a competition. You should focus on how you can bypass or beat your competition. The most important aspect of this startup is disruptive innovation, as I said in the starting. So mostly all the unicorn have brought a disruption in the field they belong to. So ladies and gentlemen, hope you like this video, though I was having a short time because it is very difficult for me to cover all the wider aspect of the startup. So if you would like to join my workshop, I have a program, how to build up your startup and convert into a unicorn company, where I'm going to talk about how a good idea need to be converted into a business model or a business plan, what kind of strategies you should be adopting, how you should build the organization, and so many things. So therefore, ladies and gentlemen, if you would like to know more about my program, how to build a startup and unicorn company, please do click the link. It has all the details. And if you like this video, please like my channel and subscribe my channel. Thank you very much.